When it's
Episode number 3074.
It will be 263. Kat, do you need me to do any sharing once we go live?
Yeah, just tweet it, because I still don't have access to the Twitter.
Sharing.
Yeah, just let me know when we're up.
Well, I made us go live a second ago.
It takes a few seconds for Twitch to catch up.
Okay.
Hey, now we're live.
I say cough was so bad the other day I spat out a cough drop.
I thought you were going to say sparrow.
Share to Twitter. So, audio's on something.
Checking.
Probably the tablet.
No, tablet's muted. Molly,
Yes.
are you watching the Twitch?
No.
Oh, it might be my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, it was me.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to yet another of our attempt to boost our Twitch numbers by moving around our broadcast time completely randomly.
Actually, we went on right at 8 o'clock.
Well, we've never done that before, though.
We're-
And it is also a completely different day.
That's true. It's Wednesday. Because the old day was Wednesday, I still have to stop myself and be like, Wednesday's not podcast day. Because for like the first 3 fucking years, Wednesday was podcast day, Cameron.
It was. See, but now we're about being a moving target. We're about making it clear that you want us more than we want you.
Only the most dedicated of fans.
Right?
We're kind of like a pop-up bar. A speakeasy of Twitch streams. In fact, if you don't know the password, just fuck off right now.
Wait, Cameron, I don't know the password.
Well, fuck off right now.
Fuck! Oh, that's the password.
No.
Oh. Well, I'm really glad to have you all in my studio. I'm going to go upstairs, I guess. I don't know the password.
And on that note, you guys ready? Have we booped our bleeps and
Yeah,
Yes.
I have shared to Twitter.
have you shared to Facebook?
No.
I did.
Okay.
Why are my shoulders so big, sweetie?
Carrying this podcast.
Goddamn right.
I'm glad whenever you're here because that means that I don't have to manage it.
Cats again.
At the same time, I really appreciate
The John Riggins of the Play Better podcast.
I greatly appreciate Fort Production.
You better appreciate Fort Production.
Fort Production is drastically needed. Like every week that you're not here, I manage to fuck it up somehow.
This is true. It is known.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but...
It was a lot easier when it was just audio because then I could just set us to record and just go. But the moment we started doing Twitch, I was like,
There's more buttons to push.
well, like,
There's things to care about.
and like somebody's camera will blow up, but like I can't see it.
It's because it's not... I'm not here staring it down, making sure it works.
That's right.
Welcome to the Play Better podcast. Tabletop Played Better. Episode 263. I just got back from PAX Unplugged, and gee, my arms have fallen off because the pickup. I gotta do that again. I had it, and it was beautiful, and then I just fucked it up. All right, here we
We're
go.
live. You can't just say pick up.
I can because, in fact, we do a live-to-tape version of this for the podcast
But then it's not live to tape.
It actually is.
No, but I'm just fucking with you, Cameron.
It's exactly live to tape. That's what live to tape is.
Well, live to tape is no edits in post.
Well, then it's not that. Because I need edits. Pick up. Welcome to the Play Better Podcast, Tabletop Played Better, episode 263. I just got back from PAX Unplugged, and gee, my arms have fallen off because the con crud is a flesh-eating virus this year. I'm Karen McNary.
I'm Molly McClanahan.
And I'm Ryan Seguin.
And
I have been surrounded by the ill, and I still feel perfectly fine. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, why have I not gotten the plague yet?
well, it's one of the few benefits of not being human, of not having a heart.
Well, wait. I mean, I still have a respiratory system.
Well, yeah, so do Cylons.
I've actually been kind of scared this week because like multiple people in my house have been sick with a cold, and we just went to PAX, and it's been 3 days since I've gotten back from Philly, and I feel fine, and I'm afraid now.
See, I took a cold into PAX and was kind of a carrier, but it got compounded by something.
I was kind of feeling a little throat itchy day one into PAX, but then day two, you didn't get any sleep, so I absorbed all of your sleep.
Anyway, let's talk about that. So we're going to do two things this evening. We are first off going to have our PAX Unplugged debrief, because Ryan and I went to PAX Unplugged. Kat did too, before production was there a day. Up in Philadelphia, and had a delightful time, and we'll share what we have to share about that. And then we will play a game we picked up at PAX Unplugged, Death Wish, a card game of diseases that had Molly's name almost literally pasted all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
It's the most Molly game I've run into in quite a while.
I mean, the only way it could be a more Molly game is if they design the box like specifically to make you drop it and spill all the cards.
If it was just a loose thing of cards, not wrapped,
Yeah.
just please hold these.
Hang on to this for a sec.
The setup instructions are: give the box to Molly. Step 2, pick up all the cards up off the floor.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about PAX Unplugged.
What's on your con table?
Oh, now you're going to need that taken out, huh?
No, I'm just leaving that in now.
God damn it. It's so unprofessional.
Yeah.
All right. So, both Cameron and I are completely wiped here. Although I think I'm more wiped than you are.
Oh yeah, totally. Like I was kosher, bad pillows and all.
Okay,
The whole-
speaking of bad pillows, okay, the Hilton was lovely, right? It was the Hilton we stayed at.
No, we stayed at the Marriott.
Whatever, the Marriott was lovely. But apparently the arms race in terms of softness of pillows has gotten completely out of hand. Because the pillows that were on our bed as a default, they weren't pillows. They were like airbags with sheet over them. They you put your head into them and they went foomp. It was like they were trying to swallow your head.
I love that. That helps me sleep. Nothing is more comforting than something trying to do.
Then pending suffocation.
Yeah.
Like approximately 1/8 of an inch was between your head and the mattress when you were laying on top of the pillow. And being an idiot on the first night of the con, on Friday night, it did not occur to me to call down and ask for new pillows until the next morning. So I was up until 4:30 in the morning, not able to sleep. Which is exactly what you want to do at a con.
Clearly.
Yeah. On top of all the walking and just, being tired and stuff. Like I got close to 18,000 steps on Saturday.
It's many steps.
It's many steps, especially for someone who is, a blobfish like myself.
Blobfish.
That really just, I deal with the traumas of life by just kind of blobbing out of the way. Rolling over them. Being soft in the face of danger has served me very well up until now. And then, Jesus Christ, I'm so wiped out right now.
Yeah. Well, I love how we had to walk a single block, from one street over another street to get to the CVS one day. And you were like, I was like, yeah, it's right there. And Cameron was like, I scoff at your definition
See,
of right
here's
there.
the thing, though. You say a single block. I say that is 2 goddamn blocks. Just because, you're standing in the middle of one of them and you can see past the 2 streets you have to go in order to get to the CVS, and they were long city blocks. So, yeah, it was a long way away. And even if it hadn't been, I was fussy because my feet hurt and I hadn't had any sleep.
That was fair. Your fussiness was understandable. I thought it was enjoyably funny.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
So let's do our jobs here, okay? Let's be professionals.
Wait.
If we can't be friends,
Wait.
then for the love of God, let's just
Wait.
rise above it and do our work, okay?
Well, I thought this was our work. Just, a lot of people really appreciate the tuning into us bitching at each other every week. If this isn't why you all are here, I'm sorry. Because that's like 15 minutes of every cast.
Emotional abuse as core part of our brand. Codependency.
Yeah, PAX Unplugged was good.
Having been to both last year and this year, the change in vibe was really interesting. Last year, it had much more of a typical, not frenetic, but energetic PAX vibe to it. Like, there was a jazzy vibe going underneath the whole thing last year, like there is at every PAX. It wasn't quite as much as PAX Prime or PAX East, but it was there. It was
Everyone was in a hurry. It had that sort of like...
It's not being in a hurry so much. It's more like everybody's at a... I don't know. Everybody's really glad to be there. Wow, isn't PAX great? PAX is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the PAX, all the time. This is great. I'm exhausted, but I'm so jazzed.
This year was...
Basically, like they're high on cocaine, is what I'm saying.
Well, only having like 15 minutes to buy tickets some years can really do that to you. But this con, they had badges. They didn't sell out. Like, they had badges all the way up. Like, you just walk in each day.
That was true. That was true last year, too.
Yeah.
Even more so last year because it was their first year out. But I think it was because all the video game folks who came because it had PAX on the name
Figured it out this year.
and stayed home. Because last year I saw plenty of people wearing video game gear and cosplaying as video game characters, which is like, it's very nice cosplay, and you're like, that's adorable, but wait, I think you misread the room, or at least the sign, the huge banner.
But what do you
over the
cosplay
intro.
as for a not video? Like, what's a good board game cosplay?
A meeple is one. I
saw a lot of people dressed up as D&D characters. Like,
Or-
either their
or-
character or
or
somebody.
like Critical Role or
Yeah.
the Waffle Crew or whatever. The ones last year that I thought were fantastic were all the people cosplaying as the various Sentinels of the Multiverse characters.
That's adorable.
It was great. There were like 20 of them.
Yeah, but there's way less cosplay than you normally see at a
There
PAX.
was like almost none.
Yeah, it was like I saw like, and as far as video game characters are concerned, I saw like one person dressed up as Samus, and I was like, I don't even think Samus is in a board game, but you know what? Hey, sure.
Yeah, it's not like you're being stupid, dude, or whatever. It's just kind of like, okay, well, I don't. Okay, sure.
Yeah, you know what? It makes you happy.
I mean, if I made a cosplay that I was really happy with, I'd wear it to the goddamn post office.
Yeah, like not exactly like not to shit on anybody's good time. It's just like, huh, all right, but
Well,
Now
if
I
you
need to think of a really good, not video game, tabletop. That's the thing we talk about. Cosplay to make for next year to go to PAX.
well, I mean, you all could be your Ratbaggers characters.
I don't know if I can do that many push-ups in a year.
No, for you, you just get one of those skin-colored shirts, and you put the pillows under it.
Just airbrush abs.
I could finally use the airbrush for something other than scaring the cats.
Or Molly, it's time to it's time to get back into your training regimen and to actually go back to barbarian school.
I mean, I could.
You really like barbarian school.
I do like barbarians.
By which we are referring, of course, to the school where they train Molly to hit things with swords in real life.
Yeah, and then my other school where I throw people on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have like yeah.
But now I'm lazy and fat. And my shoulders are broken. Which is why I stopped all those things to begin with.
She was lazy and fat, and her shoulders were broken. But the task would not wait.
The soul still burns.
That's right. You guys want to go play some Soul Calibur?
You could be like
by the way?
ironic Warhammer cosplay. You could go as like, an orc cheerleader.
So I could name Gretchen. It was funny. I was looking for presents for the upcoming holiday season for my gentleman friend. And of course, I spent way too long on the internet looking for 40K cosplay, bits and pieces, and eventually talked myself out of spending that much money on something that neither of us need. Like, I don't need to be a Sister of Battle when I go to work. Because I would.
Some of the Sister of Battle cosplay, though, is so hot.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could totally do like we played a game once where we had it was a Dark Heresy first edition game where somebody was playing a Sister of Battle and she just literally had plate mail and a flail. Like, it wasn't like the power armor and the cool badass outfit. She was like, no, I just got out. They haven't given me any of that yet, but I have.
I just graduated.
I have Sister of Battle plate mail.
I'm an intern of battle.
And a flail.
So anyway,
I want to be an intern of battle.
Anyway, the energy was like, as you would expect if you suck all of the video game people out and just leave the tabletop people in. It was like way more laid back. It was almost like Origins.
Yeah, it was like if Penny Arcade ran Origins. It
Yeah,
kinda felt
basically,
like.
which I think is what they're shooting for. So it's
Yeah.
whereas Origins is literally just about going and playing games until you barf. PAX still has a little bit of like panels that matter. It has a little bit of that PAX thing.
Yeah, which is for me panels.
And Acquisitions Inc. is there, and
Yeah, and they had like something official D&D related, like Penny Arcade D&D related. Acquisitions Inc. There are multiple teams that they have now, or the Waffle Crew, which have crossed over with Penny Arcade. Like that, there was like one or two of those each day.
It's the Penny Arcade cinematic universe. Yeah.
They have a thing, but I was like, y'all motherfuckers are playing D&D for a crowd 1 or 2 times a day. Like, I think it was alternating crews, but still, Jesus, it was a lot. And I'm impressed, because I'm used to like mainline packs where they're like, oh, it's happening at the end of the Saturday, and that's it. We're doing D&D once Saturday, done. But I guess because this was their tabletop one, we're like, haha, we don't have to have panels that make the video game people happy. So it's just Dungeons and Dragons, 24 hours a day, motherfuckers. And I was like, you know what? Applaud. I'm in. I didn't go to any of them because I didn't want to sit in a PAX line. Yeah. Oh, did you see that our good friend Chris Perkins is no longer going to be doing Dice Camera Action?
I didn't realize that was permanent and forever.
Yeah, he is stepping down, and Jeremy Crawford is stepping into his spot.
That makes sense. Yeah, you can see that. Chris Perkins has an actual job. And performing like that is another actual job.
Or no, he might still be doing DCA, but he's not doing
Acquisitions Inc.
Acquisitions Inc. anymore. I think.
Again, that would make sense.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
But anyway, yeah, that was that. What was your favorite thing about the weekend?
It was a different con for me than it has been in the past. It was like, okay, first thing first, I like looking at the huge wall of bright, shiny board games this year. I found it very hard to care about any of them.
Same.
Which says way more about me than it does, and like where board games are in my life and in kind of their life cycle than it does about any of the awesome games that were there. Like, it's just, there was only one thing that didn't feel like it had been done before for me, and that, of course, was Keyforge.
Sure. And we played the shit out of that.
We did. We played some, like the one thing that we did in our spare time is play Keyforge with each other, and had a blast doing that. But it was really interesting to me. Like, I didn't demo anything.
Yeah, I didn't feel the need to demo anything either. Because when we go to Origins, I always kind of feel like, oh, I need to demo something because this looks cool. But because we went to Origins this year, this is extremely anecdotal, but like 85% of the stuff we saw was also there. And
I think that's high, actually. I think it was something else. I think it was had more to do with the dwindling space that I have for new board games in my life.
oh,
Like, I picked up the new edition of Arkham Horror for Cthulhu Palooza, which is coming up in a week,
2 weeks.
week and a half. Yeah,
Yeah.
And then there's Keyforge, and that's basically it. That's basically like I've got a shelf full of board games that I never play, and no particular need to, for once, add to that collection. Like, which mystifies me how that can be true.
Oh, I wish one thing we missed that I would have liked to have seen was Root.
Yeah, the shut up and sit down review of that kind of turned me off it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if I was a professional, I would do my own review and have my own opinion about it, but I'm not. So,
I don't think I'd ever play it. It's adorable.
It is
I
adorable.
need to own it, and I can't own it right now, and that makes me sad.
Why can't you own it right now?
It's between prints.
You should have told us.
Oh.
We would have picked you up a copy at PAX.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Leather Games or Later Games. I don't know how you say it. I know it's the German word for leather, and that's why I keep wanting to say Leder, but that's someone's last name.
Later Games now.
Later Games.
Later Games.
Later, Gator.
They did such a good job with Vast, but they were there, and they had a ton of copies of Root.
Maybe they're coming back then.
Yeah, well, also, even when stuff's in between print runs, developers usually have a fat stack
Stockpile for these events.
specifically for cons.
But the thing that Shut Up and Sit Down was basically saying about it is like it's this beautiful candy shell of asymmetry on it, but it's one of those games where the more you dive into it, the more it kind of becomes an abstract math problem. Like it never really quite
Coalesces.
It's like the anti-War of the Ring in that regard. Like War of the Ring is this spiky, ridiculous like tar baby of a game that you're looking at and going, how am I ever going to get into this? This has so many stupid plastic pieces and whatever. But the narrative it generates is incredibly compelling and makes you want to set that thing up and play multiple times, which is ridiculous for a game like that. Like, a game that takes 4 hours and is 3 of them are setting it up.
Right.
And having looked at Root and watched plays of it, I'm like, I see that. I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah. And I mean, like, personally, I've always, as I've probably mentioned on the cast, when it comes to this hobby, I'm way more of a role-playing game guy than I am anything else. And I was genuinely shocked at myself that I walked past and did not see a role-playing game I felt like I needed to pick up.
Well, there's not much out right now.
Right. Yeah.
Which we learned was partially, at least, due to a Chinese paper shortage.
I thought it was the other way around, that it hit America first, but China is the...
There's a paper shortage.
There's a paper shortage.
And China is involved somehow. It's China's fault, I think is what they said.
Now, what the current rumor is that paper printing prices in the United States have shot up drastically. So a lot of different...
so there's not really any indie things coming out because...
Yeah.
Well, not just indie stuff, but anybody really.
We were talking to a larger publisher about this exact thing, and they were like, yeah, well, like a bunch of our books are ready to go, but we literally couldn't get a domestic U.S. printer. So for the first time ever, we have to have them printed in China and shipped over to the U.S. because it's cheaper than having them printed and shipped domestically.
Yeah, they've had to push stuff back by like 6 months in a lot of cases, and it's there's not that much. But I'll tell you, I was much more interested to engage with the stuff at the role playing booths, even stuff like that I know, like I wanted to buy another copy of Bluebeard's Bride. Even though I know Molly has that and is never, ever going to run it for us because she never runs things. For what?
Somebody to tell me I should do that.
Hey, Molly, at some point we should play Bluebeard's Bride.
Yes, we should do that, and I will do it.
Do you think it would be a good... We need a winter cast thing. But
We should do an L5R Winter Court is what we should do.
well, we did also. I don't know if you were there. It might have just been. It was just me and Kat. We talked to Stephen Dewey, friend of Liz Brink, the guy that wrote 10 Candles and To Serve Her Wintry Hunger.
I was not with you at the time, no.
Yeah, he was there. He was an absolute delight. And we were like, I was thinking, yeah, hey, we played 10 Candles for Halloween. He was like, great, that's awesome. And I was like, I can see us potentially doing To Serve Her Wintry Hunger for winter. And he was like, I didn't intend for my games to have seasonal themes, but you are not the first person to tell me that they did,
Well, it does have winter in the title.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was...
Well, somebody's going to have to figure out some kind of schedule for these things of what we're going to do next. You guys should get on that.
Yeah.
If only we had a creative director.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if he's letting us bypass him entirely and just...
No.
And we're doing Life Day again, motherfucker.
Yes!
My AT-AT t-shirt cannon is ready.
I come from that school of management where you micromanage everything and make sure everything goes through you so that if you don't feel like doing your job, it all falls apart. And they all know how important you are. I mean, the organization, disintegrates, but...
So what I'm hearing is if we just cut Cameron out of the process entirely, we won't have a fail point.
I don't believe that's what I said.
So how I've chosen to interpret this...
But I was much more engaged with the role playing end of things, in no small part because I'm thinking about maybe writing some stuff professionally. So I got the chance to take an industry professional out and buy them a slice of pizza and pick their brain about what I should do to make that happen, and it seems like doable maybe. Like it's not just that there are these people who have their official certificate in role playing writingology out there who are the officially approved people who write role-playing supplements, and I'm not one of them. I no longer have that excuse, which kind of pains me a little bit, but my heart will go on.
Yeah, I hit that same feeling recently when I changed jobs, and all of a sudden I had to start writing blogs on tech topics. Like I was like, wait. How does everybody else do this? And I was like, oh, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. And I was like, oh, every blog I reference and every paper I read is just somebody else who's been in the exact same position.
Like when you find that what you thought was the stone of God is actually shifting sand.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm just part of the desert now.
Yep.
And it's not hard to do that. Yeah, I'm glad you got there. I actually really hope that you put stuff out because having played your adventures, they're well written.
I'm gonna work on it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I like to make tables and charts.
You do. It's true. I've seen them.
Do you think you could do good mass combat rules for a game? Because I don't think that thing exists anywhere.
Yeah, it does actually.
What game?
Legend of Five Rings, not the current edition, but the previous ones.
I feel like that's not a thing you need to
ever do.
Just use your imagination for fuck's sake. Like,
see, because what
that is not a thing we need to simulate.
What L5R did, and it's perfectly valid and important because it's very much part of the genre, like mass battles of like Akira Kurosawa's Ron and stuff, like all these samurai with the same color armor on crashing into each other and in waves and making
it's important to be color coordinated.
It is. Skittle Samurai is the way to go. But the way it frames it is it's centered around your character, what your character does in the battle. Like, and if you're in command and you have the battle skill, you can influence what happens. But what the table is rolling is not like how many people die or whatever. It's what type of heroic scene you have happening. Like if you're losing, you may be fighting on defense, against overwhelming odds. If you're winning, you may be leading the charge towards their banner. Cat's writing the thing. Yeah, it's not Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, exactly. That you could have said out loud, I think. There you go.
Thank you for production.
But yeah, I think it has been done. It's one of those things where it's like you just got to bear in mind the story you're actually telling. And if mass battles are an important part of that story, which they are sometimes, but it's like what part of that battle? Like any
Right. I mean, I think you can still have. You can work on the assumption that the greater battle is going in a similar fashion to like the one-on-one or the smaller scale things that are happening on the. Like, I don't need to roll for 50 dudes.
No.
I'll just
Oh,
assume
no.
that if.
well, like in Alpha it wasn't a roll for 50 dudes.
Right,
It was a
right.
simple battle roll. It was
Yeah.
like whoever was in command or had the highest battle skill. It gave you a mechanical reward for having a skill. If you're playing in a Kodo, it gave you and you went to the War College. It gives you a mechanical benefit for having that skill.
What if you went to the War Community College?
That would be the crab, I think.
Hey.
Nothing's wrong with community college. Not knocking community
I went
college.
to one, did not graduate from one, but I went to one or two or three.
It is not fancy. It is centered around what you need. Practical. It's practical. You can get your degree in 2 years.
An associate's.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes that's what you need.
And associates in goblin killing.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't really think you can get a doctorate in goblin killing.
I like to think that the crab have more of a.
It's more of a trade school.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely like, you're bypassing the whole college experience and you're just working directly in your field.
That's legit. It's legit.
Yeah.
I think a doctorate in goblin killing means being corrupted by Fulang, and but you've stared too long at the abyss, and the abyss has stared back.
I just want to meet the crab named Dr. Goblin Killer. Just whatever that comes out to,
And he has to like make snippy hands afterwards. Dr. Goblin Killer.
because he's a crab.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's more dignified than the bubbly crab mouth that I usually think about.
Blip, 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 blip.
So wait, do you think that everybody in the unicorn has a horn, or are they like?
Spiritually, yes.
A lot of them do, at least on their hats.
No, that's true. I guess that's true. I don't have anything else for that. I mean,
We're having one of those. If we don't keep pushing forward, we're just going to come to a stop of our own momentum. I went into this PAX swearing to myself I was not going to buy any more dice because I have all the dice I need.
That never works.
And then I bought dice. I bought the sexiest dice I have ever owned in my life.
They're pretty nice.
If I'm going to describe these dice, these are light metallic dice, kind of a white metal. I'm going to guess it's aluminum, and the negative space in them is filled with lacquer. I guess, right? That's what you call it.
Enamel.
Enamel. Thank you. Not lacquer. Lacquer's what samurai use on their armor. Enamel are filled with in this case it's a dark green, and so all the numbers are like bright white metallic steel color, and then you got this dark green. And the font is bigger than I'm used to on a G20.
It's a good font.
It's a great font, in part because it's positive. Like it's not carved into the die. It's the positive space is the number, so they're able to make them bigger. And they're just so legible and so pretty.
Yeah. We were just having this discussion upstairs. I'm firmly of the opinion that if any game developer ever says, we've had our dice made by Q Workshop, I'm immediately upset. Because
They are getting better. Like recently, a lot of their older styles, they've been
it's
no, I don't know if you call it reprinting, but they've been like refashioning to be a little more legible. But they're still definitely very fancy and have a lot of swirly doos around them. And I have trouble reading them.
yeah, because I just got my my copy of Forbidden Lands through Kickstarter, and they have Q Workshop dice. So these are definitely the newer ones.
Yeah, they got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, it's a lot. Especially seeing as how, just like all of, not Modifius, well, Modifius is the publisher. Free League's other games, their custom dice have the success and failure symbols on them. These have the success, the failure, and the bordered filigree around them that I absolutely... if they just took the fucking bordered filigree off of all of their dice, they would be a lot better.
But then you wouldn't know it's a gimmick.
Then I wouldn't know it's Q Workshop dice.
It's like glitter to a stripper. It's absolutely awful, but they keep using it because it's like they think otherwise you won't know it's a stripper. I'm pretty sure I'll know it's a stripper. I will get that. I will understand that.
It's one of those things where I always like to look at them and I think, oh, they're pretty.
But you can't play a game
Right,
with
but
them.
as a visually impaired person,
Well, that's why I think that's where these new dice were like,
Yep.
didn't even seduce me. They held me down and made me love it. Is because I can look at
I
these.
can read them from here. It's
I know
great.
they're beautiful. They're just and so
I
functional.
wonder if I take my glasses off, how
How close you have to
far
get? What's the Molly
I
Molly test?
can't even tell what shape that is.
This is at full table length. Molly deglassed.
Got about a foot and a half.
There we go.
That's
Yeah.
that's not bad for your mutated eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I as a non-human, I think that they're quite good. With my mutant vision.
Yeah, I'm excited about them. I would tell you what brand they are, but I don't know.
It was so like this was the best part. We went to the back of PAX, and it was the
Was there just a guy like with a trench coat selling dice out of a?
almost, and it was very like this dude had a very nice shop. Like I'm not dissing his shop in any way, shape, or form, but it was almost like mall pop-up kiosk worthy. It had the bright lights. It had the like. I almost felt like in addition to being able to buy dice, he could fix my phone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
sort of look
Yeah,
to it.
no, it's exactly it. And the fact that these dice that I there was an almost identical set of dice available over at another booth further into PAX that were $50. These were 32. So
Yeah, we were like, so, who do you get these from? They're like, oh, they're our molds, and I was like, you don't have the name of your shop anywhere that I can see. Okay, sure, they're your molds. That's awesome.
I'm buying these for me. I will never be able to tell anyone where they came from, but I will have them.
Yeah, like I guess you paid for them on your credit card, right?
They fell off of a truck somewhere.
You could probably check your statement and see who it was billed to, unless it was just Dice Co.
Oh my god! And I bought the dumbest thing.
What was the dumbest thing?
The dumbest thing is the scorpion counter I got.
Oh yeah, that hasn't come yet.
It hasn't come yet, but it's one of those convention versions where you're like, this is so stupid, but I'm so glad I'm buying it.
Oh, dude, I bought that full leather Elder Sign folio. The the Call of Cthulhu.
Well, that's not a stupid purchase. That's just an expensive purchase.
Yeah.
That thing is gorgeous.
I love it.
I got the little detective flip book for taking your notes with the Elder Sign on the front of it.
And we did that. We used those for Delta Green,
Excellent.
and I used my Miskatonic University.
But I bought
book.
Molly. I bought a so the guy making laser cut plastic
Counters.
spinny counters. Like you could put like 2 or 3 wheels together, and I'm like, you can put a scorpion on that, can't you? And they're like, yeah, sure, I can put anything on it. And I'm like, well, I want a scorpion. I need to think up a reason for me to have one in Legend of the Five Rings. And so I'll use it to track composure and
Yeah.
damage.
Things
And
that change often that you don't want to erase constantly.
of course, I'm practically saving money.
It's true.
And I was like, you need a mega one so that I can track 1st through 9th level spell slots. He was like, well, that'd be a lot. I mean, he's like, well, luckily you don't ever get more than like 5 slots for like the higher tier spells, right? Even at level 20, so that wouldn't be too terrible. I was like, I don't care. I want them all to go to 10 because I want my bonus fucking slots in there. I don't, I want a giant disc of smaller discs.
Yeah, and we played Delta Green. Played in kind of an intro game of Delta Green, which is one of the things I love about that is I was playing a scenario that I have skimmed through in the past. It's like in the new rule book, Last Things Last, and I still had a blast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I got to play like the operator, the guy who was adapted to violence, who just like all this horrible violent stuff was happening, and he just didn't care.
Sanity check. We're good.
I've seen worse.
I played an astrophysicist, so I was the book nerd. And when we got to the end, and I found a magical artifact that was like magnetic glass. I was like, I'm keeping this. And Cameron was like, no, you're not. And I was like, I'm ignoring you and keeping this.
And I shot a guy's foot off
Excellent.
at the ankle.
So you both got something you'd enjoy.
Well, it, like an interdimensional Wendigo woman was trying to rip his leg off through the crushed lid of a septic tank.
Right, so I pulled out my 357 Magnum. Well, I stowed my MP5, and then I pulled out my 357 Magnum, and I tried to, at point-blank range, shoot the Hellbeast's wrist, so it shot its hand off, and had a critical fail, and then failed my luck roll, and so I shot his foot off at the ankle. I blew his ankle apart. But we got a tourniquet on him. He was fine. I mean, he lost a foot, but he's not dead.
Yeah.
Made his constitution check and lived.
That's what I call a successful op.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it was like that was like the worst thing that happened. I mean, 2 of our compatriots also got set on fire, but they willingly jumped into the gasoline fire.
Oh yeah, and given the guy,
I mean, it's like you had to have Marcel there in spirit.
given the guy who got his foot blown off and 70% of his body was covered in burns. What story do you think we went with when we went to the hospital?
I don't know.
Fireworks.
And yeah, they bought it. We had one of the members of our party was the person that took them in was a medical examiner. So we were like, yeah, you can bullshit this to
Excellent.
to people. Like it was, I think there were only out of like the 6 of us, there were only 2 feds and the rest were just friendlies.
Yeah, I would have gone with like industrial accident, but I like fireworks better.
And you know what's funny?
You don't get you don't get OSHA in on that. You don't get
Yeah.
it's less questions asked. You're just like people just go, oh, God damn it, dumbass. And it goes in the mental, library of stupid things that ER doctors
you become
have
somebody's
seen.
anecdote
Yep.
for next 4th of July. You become Florida man.
I
and
think
that's it.
I should become an actual Delta Green agent. Is what I'm saying. I would be super good at it.
No, Cameron, you don't actually want to be a Delta Green agent.
I think I kind of want to become a Delta Green agent.
I think you're forgetting about all the violence and sanity rules.
I'd get adapted to that.
Then you'd also have to become really good at using a weapon to defend yourself.
I can my rapier wit.
You know what? Yeah. Hey, next time we're
I'm
playing
sure
Delta,
that works on
can I just try and talk a Shoggoth down with how clever I am and just have that work?
See, it's more likely I would be a great Delta Green agent because every single time I go out, I would go, oh, well, that's not a good idea. Let's not even get involved in this. Let's just
not be
Let's
here.
just. I've read books about this. Let's turn around and whatever happens. These people, I'm sure, deserve it for some reason.
So the world would end under your watch.
Well, yeah, but I'd get to be a Delta Green agent.
I love it.
Oh my God, I have to track down the Delta Green pins.
Yeah.
For their Arc Dream made, and they're just little green Delta, which is of course like the sticker that they put on the people's files to give them the Delta Green clearance, to mark them as having Delta Green clearance, and it's the symbol of Delta Green. But Arc Dream apparently still has some of them up on their website,
That's awesome.
and I want to get one of those.
I think it was
I've
kind of
got
everything.
that unnatural pin need that I have
Yeah.
every time that I go to a PAX.
I understand.
I mean, Jesus Christ, there were so many pins this year,
Oh, I got an overlight pin.
and a Burning Wheel one.
Yeah, and a Scully. Well, yeah, because the Burning Wheel one was an official PAX pin. I was like, huh, you guys got in on the penny arcade trade?
Dude, they were letting everybody in on that. Did you not see that? There were
Yeah.
like literally like 30 different official vendors for Penny Arcade.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I should have gotten an overlight pin. I never did. I am wearing my overlight nail polish.
oh, yeah, we should play that at some point.
I told George to run it for us.
I have also told him to run it for
I
us.
want him to make it gritty and dark, not the game that it is. It's just many shades of gray.
So speaking,
Maybe
so
with the chartreuse thrown in.
grain of salt. I'm in the playtest notes. I was in the first group to ever playtest this RPG, and both of the writers co-ran it for that session. it's certainly got the griminess in there. The sample adventure, which George has said he's run like 1,000 times now, and he won't run it ever again, which is fine. Definitely had us going to a drug-fueled sex party where we had to come out with, like stealing something from a Jabba the Hutt type character.
I did not do that when I played it for Game Trade Magazine. I was a little murder shrub though, so that was pretty great.
Yeah, I was the murder shrub too.
Yeah, murder shrub.
Yes, I was Groot. It was pretty Groot. Did you do that adventure?
I don't think so. We played when we're taking someone's daughter to the... It is now, I think, one of the free adventures you can get with it, but I don't know if it was published or they just made it up the day before.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was. I really hope that we get to do that, but
I want to hear George make the Jabba the Hutt voice for whatever character was at your sex party crime den.
I think he said that after the 30th time, he thinks that adventure is great, but he never wants to have to run it again.
That is fair.
I can't think of anything else at PAX.
It was well, I mean, just to emphasize, it was really the Keyforge Con. It was the con of Keyforge.
For us, anyway.
No, for everybody.
I didn't see a lot of other people playing.
Oh, you didn't go downstairs much.
That's true.
Which is where the competitive play was.
I have now worked multiple shifts since the dawn of Keyforge, and
Yeah.
I have talked myself out of buying more Keyforge decks every time.
I cracked my first really, really, really good Keyforge deck. It's weird, the heaviness of that responsibility. It's like I've got this little cardboard cards with lots of big fat Martians in them, and some logos to support them.
I do like Martians.
But I mean, it's like the big fat Martians. There's like 4 or 5 big huge
No.
Martians.
Because my deck doesn't have any Martians.
This has like 2 of each of them. And
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, you kind of don't want to bring it out because it's like,
Because then people will know that you have it.
well, and also it's, I don't know if I want to like,
I don't want to share you.
beat somebody up with this. And like, I'll be accused of using a weapon that's too big for the problem at hand. And if I win with this, is it really winning? And then I go, yeah, it is. So let's play this anyway. But yeah, I if I'm going into a tournament, I finally have a deck where I'm like, this is the one that I would play. Although the tournament formats for Keyforge are really interesting.
Like, don't you need a minimum 5 decks so that you can keep...
It depends on the format.
Okay.
There's one where like you start with 3 decks, and whenever you win, and you play with one of them, and whenever you win with a deck, you're no longer allowed to play with that deck. So you're gradually going down to your worst deck.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It actually makes you like work with what you got,
Yep.
like to an like even more than just the game by itself does.
Well, I mean, unless
Keeping with the spirit.
you've bought like 100 decks or whatever, and you're that person that has played the numbers so hard that you have like 5 to 10 kick-ass decks.
Well, sure. But they're going to get ascended before too long.
Yeah, and then you go to the Ascended tournaments. Like, and if I was that person, I'm like, yeah, sorry, I can only play in Ascended tournaments.
I don't play regular Keyforge anymore.
Yeah, because you totally would. You'd be like, I was the person that won the lottery. Like, I would put those in special fucking sleeves. Like, I would find Ascended sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would, because you'd be like, yeah, by the way, I bought these. I didn't do anything else to earn this amazing deck, but I bought them.
And they're just like solid gold sleeves, so that your stack of cards is like a foot high.
And the solid gold sleeve dancers for
Clink.
Keyforge.
Clank. 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 Clank.
Yeah, and then we played I finally got you to play Parsley with me on Saturday.
I did, which was wonderful, with the creator of the game, in fact.
Yeah, Jared Sorensen.
Yeah. Which, for those of you that don't know, is Parsley is a game where which we will play on this cast soon. We just want to do it with more players.
Yay!
Where it's a text adventure game, but done live as a role-playing game, where one person reads the text adventure stuff, and you rotate whoever's doing the command line with each command. So when we played, we had like, I don't know, 15, 20 people
Yeah.
In a line, and whenever you would get up to the front of the line, you'd say a command, and you go around to the back. which was really interesting when people wouldn't quite pay attention to what was going on. Like they would miss a little bit of what was going on and fuck things up. And then
That's part of it.
you'd have to reload. You could, yeah. One of the commands you can make is saving your game, and yeah.
Yeah, I out of the whole crowd, I think I was the only person there that had played those before, and so when I was like save, everyone stopped and they were like, "We can fucking do that," and I was like, "Yeah, am I the only person?" Oh, I'm probably the only hardcore fan of Parsley games here. All right, that's fine.
What are the odds?
Yeah, I'm, if people haven't gotten this before, I'm a huge Burning Wheel, like Jared Sorensen fan. I own every game he's ever made. So when this...
You're like me and Pelgrane.
Sure. I mean, the
Yeah,
only...
you own a lot of Pelgrane too, but not as much as I do.
That's fair. I mean, the only thing I haven't really jumped on with Pelgrane is 13th Age.
You have Night's Black Agents?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, they've done...
You have Cthulhu Confidential?
Do not have Cthulhu.
I don't have that either. I need to get that one. I need Fiona to get old enough that I can play that one with her.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm gonna make her run.
Yeah. I would love to play Burning Wheel sometime. I mean, I don't know who I'm going to convince. Like, Burning Wheel is the game that sits on my shelf that, like, I read it and I'm like, I know why you're great. We're just going to keep that right there. Because I'm like, hey, it's like a D&D game, but a completely new system. And it's hyper reductivist, but yeah, it's that.
Forget everything you know about D&D because none of it will be any use here.
Pretty much, yeah. Because we played Torchbearer. It is the more like it is the more generic fantasy, much less punishing version of that. Like Torchbearer uses a dumbed down version of that system, as does Mouseguard. Mouseguard uses a derivative of the Burning Wheel system. And the thing that I love about it is that it frames conflict in like this very non-binary sense. Like it's not win or lose. It's how much are you willing to compromise with, and what are you willing to risk whenever you get into a problem.
So in summary, I don't care about games more, which is a good position to be in, really, as somebody on a gaming podcast. It feels good. It feels good to just not really care about anything that's going on in gaming whatsoever.
Apathy is so good. It's tasty.
That's not true, actually. I got some PDFs of upcoming stuff from Pelgrane that I am looking forward to cracking into and giving my thoughts on.
Oh, I did. I got to talk to Keith Baker. Kat and I did.
Oh yeah, great.
Of Together, is it Together Studios?
Yes.
Yeah, Together Studios. Also, creator of Eberron.
I'm not going to hold that against him.
Told him I was a big fan of Phoenix. He was like, "Yeah, love Phoenix." The vibe that I got from that conversation was that he really loved it, but there was not enough like general interest to warrant making more Phoenix Dawn Command content.
Well, you know what, we were talking this week, and I figured out what my problem really with Eberron was.
What was that?
It was the fact that they tried to make it into the generic D&D setting.
Oh yeah,
And that wound up making it too diffuse and too generic. Like if it had been about the pulp thing entirely, that could have been really cool. But it wasn't enough itself.
I mean that's kind of the curse of being a D&D setting, I think for me in a lot of ways.
Well, like Ravenloft has managed it.
Yeah, I mean that pulls
Dark Sun has managed it.
Yeah,
Planescape.
Well,
Birthright. Al-Qadim.
All of those. I mean,
Mystara.
Mystara.
Red Steel.
You're just naming settings now. Mystara. Yeah, I mean, oh god, the worst setting ever.
What do you mean the worst setting ever?
There's no setting material on it. It purely exists.
That's not true. That is not true. There is plenty of second edition stuff for Mystara.
You can. It is the setting with which you can fill in all the blanks. I mean, I can see how you.
Where elves are a class.
Where elves are a class, and they all wear bondage undies everywhere. if the video games based in the Mystara universe are any indication.
I don't think they are, but okay.
Well, I think it's canon. I think the Chronicles of Mystara games.
All right, well, let's play this game that we got at PAX that we picked up because it is so very Molly.
Yeah.
You know when people say that's so Molly, they're talking about this game. The game is Death Wish by Zafty and Sketchy Games, who I've never heard of in my life, but it's a pretty game. It's got good graphic design, and it's got funny names for diseases. So, Ryan, what are we doing here?
Well, we're all set up, so that's it. So you use turns to collect matching symptoms and afflictors to contract diseases. Build up to the chosen total or more skulls from diseases to win.
So how many skulls are we going towards?
We are in the 2 to 5 player bracket, so we are going to go for 10 for time. And let's see. So they have 5 steps here. And
10 skulls total amongst all 3 of us?
No, I think
A pe-
for you.
Each, okay.
So let's see. Step 1, obtain an afflictor that matches the color of a chosen disease in the disease pool. Additionally, collect the total number of symptoms shown on the corner of the disease.
So we got 4 kinds of cards here. We got symptom cards,
Yeah.
afflictor cards, disease cards, and outbreak cards.
Yeah, okay. Choose one turn action. The player who looks the most suitably dressed for a funeral starts the game and is played in a clockwise direction.
Now, let's see. Molly is wearing her Golden Girls T-shirt, which is the cover from Appetite for Destruction, but with Golden Girls. Ryan is wearing his Employee 427 T-shirt, and I am wearing my Strong Female Character shirt that I got actually at PAX this weekend.
I think Molly with the all black
And legit.
wins it.
Yay.
And there are dead people on that shirt, so
That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely appropriate for a funeral.
Okay.
Choose one action from the following 4 options for your turn. Suffer symptoms. Collect 2 symptoms from the symptom deck or from the symptom pool, not both. Only 1 wild symptom is allowed from the symptom pool. After the turn, refill any empty spaces in the pool from the top of the deck. Become afflicted. Reveal the top 2 afflictors from the afflictor deck. Place one face up in front of you and the other face up in the open afflictors, or collect the top open afflictors card. If the open afflictors is still empty, refill it with a card from the top of the deck. Maximum 3. Spread diseases. Take the incubation disease or the disease from the top of the disease deck and place it offset above a disease in the disease pool.
so
the
confused.
blocking the disease
All right.
underneath.
I could have shuffled better. I think that's part of the problem. Okay.
No, there are lots of white cards.
Okay.
And then the 4th option is contracted disease. Ready to catch a disease? Take the disease, maximum 1, and share your diagnosis and collect the outbreak if an outbreak symbol is displayed. Refill any empty space in the disease pool with the incubation disease and replenish this from the deck.
What is
So,
the incubation disease?
I think these are the incubating diseases.
What talking about these? To people who are listening.
Sorry. The white cards at the bottom from the disease deck are the incubating diseases.
Okay.
But I want to read the spread the diseases again real quick. Take the incubation disease or okay, what is that?
Yeah, it's
sounds
talking
like,
about a incubation disease.
Yeah, which, if I'm remembering the pictures correctly, it should be to the left-hand side of the disease.
Yeah, absolutely. So the disease deck, take one off the top and put it to the left.
Right
'cause
now.
we don't have one.
Okay.
What's the incubation disease?
Rolflitis.
Rophilitis.
That sounds rawful.
It's no mad owl disease.
Yeah. In the disease corner, we have rophilitis, mad owl disease, sniffles, phlemeroids,
And tophoid.
and tophoid.
You don't want the old tophoid.
Or the new one either.
Yeah, so
I'm vaccinated against typhoid. I'm fine for like 4 more years.
So, contracting a disease, like if you want to take that action, there are 5 apparently criteria you have to meet.
Okay.
5 different ways in which you can contract a disease. So obtain an afflictor that matches the color of the chosen disease in the disease pool. So all of our diseases are white right now, which is not supposed to happen.
Why don't we reshuffle that?
Because all of these cards suggest that.
You know what may have happened? I may have handed you that deck to shuffle and not indicated forcefully enough that it needed to be shuffled.
I'll shuffle them.
Okay. Because I'm pretty bad at shuffling, but
Oh, I'm.
that is remarkably bad. If I did attempt to shuffle.
Yeah, it's all together. It's just slightly. You know,
Ryan is shuffling.
I'm shuffling. Shuffling.
This is
Quality content.
great radio.
Yep, me shuffling cards.
Now 2 of us.
2 people shuffling
of
the
us
same
shuffling
deck at the
cards.
same time.
What?
I leave it up to your imagination as to how that's happening.
I've given Molly half the
I
deck.
can't do that.
Unless you're watching on the Twitch stream, in which case you can totally see how that's happening. I'm sorry.
What, you can't bridge?
Okay, no.
Fiona can't either, and it frustrates her no end. Like, one of the reasons she doesn't want to play Keyforge is because she
can't bridge.
she can't bridge.
Not
being able to do things, like not being competent at things, is really upsetting for her.
That's fair.
I know the feeling, kid.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's important because if you're going to do, I forget what the first part is. If you're going to do the shuffle, see, I fucked up the bridge. If you're going to do the shuffle, the bridge is important because it bends the cards back into the correct place.
Sure.
I just have bendy cards.
Yeah, don't.
Oh, I never thought about that before. Thank you.
I grew up playing a lot of poker, as it turns out. Rednecks love poker. So, like, most of the barns that I grew up in as a kid had poker deck dispensers, like the kind that you see at like a convenience store or whatever, where you just pick a card out of the thing. We would regularly buy whole ones of those. The moment that somebody dropped a card on the floor, it was considered bad luck, so you had to throw the whole deck out. So we all regularly shuffled.
As fascinating as your poker story is, Chad has something to say.
What's the episode going to be put up on the podcast this week?
The next one, so the one for this week is going to be the L5R final episode.
Conclusion?
Yeah, the conclusion of the L5R story. So if you've already seen that, or if you're watching us on Twitch and you go click on that and watch it right now, that will
Or later, because we'd rather have you watching us now.
open up
And that
two
would not
windows.
maximize your Play Better podcast watching time.
True. Yeah, so it should be that.
What do we got?
All right, so our what is it? Incubation disease is the man flu.
Yep.
What does it say on the subtext? I can't see that there.
It's a wild card, so each color symptom plus any self-owned afflictor.
We have snarkolepsy. Tiny peckerlitis.
Mepilepsy and multifartosis.
That's terrible.
I love all of these.
Yes.
So,
You know, I know Molly can't figure out why we got this for her.
also, all of my afflictors are the same color.
Are they all?
All your symptoms, so are
so
mine.
all of my symptoms are
I
the
thought
same.
I shuffled symptoms. We're just gonna have to deal.
Deal with it. All right. So, yeah.
Let me see the symptoms deck.
You need the most skulls to win, and there are skulls on the diseases. So the deadlier the disease, the more points it's worth. First to 10 wins.
Molly, you didn't shuffle these almost at all.
For fuck's sake. You have to shuffle our symptoms again.
Ladies and gentlemen, gripping radio here.
No, okay, well, I'll continue to explain the rules. So, additionally, collect the total number of symptoms shown on the corner of the disease that matches the disease's color. So
this big number in the corner
yeah,
are
in
the
top
symptoms
upper,
we have to match.
Yeah, well, it's to collect the total number of symptoms shown. So you just need Obtain an afflictor that matches the... Okay. Oh, okay. So these are all 5 of the criteria that you need to meet in order to collect contracted disease. It's not or, it's and. So you have to have an afflictor of the same color, and you have to have a number of symptom cards equal to the number in the upper left. So, like, mepilepsy is blue. So I have to have a blue afflictor. Right now I do because I ate some snot. And so if I have 3 symptoms, because mepilepsy is worth 3, I've met criteria 1 and 2. Then it says place the disease in front of you, share how you caught it to the group, which is match the afflictor with the disease, and discard the spent afflictor and symptoms. Refill the empty space with the incubation disease and replenish this from the top of the deck. And then take note of the number of skulls on the collected disease and reach or exceed the total to win. And stack your diseases visibly so that people can count the number of skulls you have. If the disease displays an outbreak, collect an outbreak card. Read it out and complete it. Discard after using. Some may also say keeper, meaning you can keep it private and use it later. Outbreaks usually help you. So that seems pretty straightforward now that I actually kind of understand how this is supposed to go. You can take afflictors to try and like match the color that you need. There is a maximum to each one though. So you can suffer symptoms, which is draw 2 symptom cards. Either 2 that are up front that we can already see, or 2 from the deck. Take the afflictor that we can currently see, or draw 1 at random from the top of the deck, and put 1 out that everybody else can see. Because essentially, if you're taking 1 at random, that also puts more afflictors out that people can choose from.
Okay.
Spread disease. Take the incubation disease or disease from the top of the disease deck and place it offset above a disease in the disease pool, blocking the disease underneath. So what that means is we could say take man flu and...
Which is the incubating disease.
Right, and use it to block tiny pecoritis.
Which is one of the 4 that are to face up.
Right, so that you couldn't get tiny pecoritis until you got the man flu, until somebody got man flu. And then your other option is just straight up contracted disease, which is what you want to do to win.
Okay, how many of the symptoms do you need to have a disease?
It tells you on the
number
card.
on the card.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
How many wild symptoms can you use?
I think you can use as many as you want, but you can only draw 2 from the...
Stealing. Many diseases also display a smaller size number underneath the big
Such
number.
as multifartosis.
You can collect this amount to use another player's afflictor. Yeah, so like if you had 5 symptoms, you could, but you didn't have the afflictor color in front of you, you could use someone else's. Yeah, okay, so your symptoms do have to match the disease's color as well, all of them. So you will need, like, to get mepilepsy.
So we got 4 decks, right?
Yeah.
And we're having to match up 1 afflictor, 1 disease, a given number of symptoms,
of that color.
and an outbreak may trigger depending on what disease you get. Okay. All right.
Right, yeah.
So for my first turn, I'm going to suffer symptoms, so I'm going to collect 2 symptoms from the top of the deck.
Yeah, you can have a maximum number of 7 symptoms in your hand.
Okay. That is my turn.
I am going to take the 2 wildcard symptoms from the symptom pool.
You sure you can take both?
Yes.
Okay.
No, only 1 wild from the symptom pool.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
According
You're
to
right.
this.
It's Ticket to Ride rules.
And
Ooh, a red one. I guess I'm going to contract a disease.
You can already?
Yeah.
God damn it.
I've got hairy ear and no fashion sense as symptoms. I kissed my dead dog, and that's how I got tiny peckeritis.
Okay, and then you discard all of those. Discard the symptoms and the system and all
Okay,
that.
so now we have
And the afflictors and the afflictor.
a disease I could make up.
Does this... Wait.
So these are symptoms. These go up here because that's a discard. This is an afflictor. This goes
Okay,
here.
that's where that goes. Okay.
Yep. All right. Molly.
I would like to take an afflicted, please.
So
I take 2, and then I keep 1, and we put the other on top of the
Or you could have bitten by an ostrich, which is a yellow afflictor.
yellow one.
You want the yellow one?
So
But I like that ostrich.
so you put 2 face up in front of you, pick and then pick one.
I would like to keep the blue one. I ate a hamster.
Okay, and then the white one is going to go over into the open pool.
You sure it doesn't go on top of it? Because it says...
Let's see. Reveal the top 2 afflictors from the afflictor deck. Place 1 face up in front of you, and the other face up on the open afflictors. On the open afflictors. Or collect the top afflictors card. Ah, okay, yeah, it does stack. You're right.
It goes on
Okay.
top, so it keeps
Yeah.
you from getting too many afflictors. Okay.
Yeah, and you can only have a maximum of 3 in front of you.
Oh, God, this was a terrible idea.
Uh,
I think we should fire whoever's in charge of creative on this.
okay, that's fair.
I mean, I'm having fun, but I'm just imagining someone listening to this and going, and then you put this card over here, and then that card goes there with this card.
I can just read the cards for everybody at home.
Well, you should every time you play or are involved with one, you should read it.
Yeah.
So what are your afflictors there, Molly?
Shared a needle, cursed by a witch, and ate a hamster.
I've still got 8 roadkill.
I have ate some snot and bitten by a starfish.
I think bitten by a starfish is my favorite.
I'm going to collect another wild card from the pool for the symptoms.
Jerk.
I just peed myself.
And I put down a mullet.
I'm going to take the 2 white symptoms.
Which are?
Spicy dandruff and hairy belly button.
And I'm going to put down hunger for crayons and bloated ego.
Oh, dude. Dibs.
Let's see.
It's back to me?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, I am going to get a disease. I'm going to get mepilepsy. Oh no, mepilepsy! Which I got when I ate a hamster. And
Epilepsy.
I had symptoms such as crying a lot, pixelated nipples, and drool bubbles.
Nice.
And now,
It's fartritis.
Oh no, not the dreaded fartritis. Fartritis.
I think farthritis. Farthritis.
I like fartritis.
I am going to take afflictors from the top of the afflictor deck. Bitten by a clown or sucked on a used tampon. I'm gonna go with the tampon. Because that just, yep.
Good to know.
I'm going to snag...
I don't understand how the picture it seems to still have the applicator attached.
Well, you wouldn't take the applicator off to suck on it.
If it was used, you would have had to.
It doesn't say... Oh, used. It didn't say used for what, though.
Okay.
I'm going to take Bitten by a Clown. Yes, by the way, we are using the not safe for work expansion. Bitten by a Clown, which is yellow. I'm going for yellow.
I'm going to take Hunger for Crayons and Genitalia Sprouts Fruit from the symptom deck, which I think Genitalia Sprouts Fruit is my favorite.
Revealing excess earwax and ruptured testicle.
Oh, God. I am not happy with any of this. I don't really have a whole lot I can do, which is weird. Can we discard cards?
No, I don't think so. I think after you draw them, yes. If you're like collecting symptoms.
Oh, you
maximum-
know what? You know what I can do? I'm going to move the man flu over top
Oh no.
of fartritis. So the man flu has to be contracted before anybody can
disease.
get
Take the
fartritis.
incubation disease or top card of the disease act and place it above a disease in the disease. Oh, okay, all right. What's the new
Syphilis.
incubation disease? Sniffles. Okay. I am going to take shared a toothbrush as an afflictor. So I have a white afflictor. I have my maximum number of afflictors.
I'm going to draw 2 symptoms from the symptom deck.
I'm going to contract man flu. Because by eating some snot. And I'm suffering
What were your symptoms?
such symptoms as let's see, repeating myself, twitchy eyelid, baby-sized hands, and smell like rotten cabbage.
Got to play that for the camera though. Next time.
Oh, okay. And yeah, so that is...
Which is something I need to remind myself of. I am going to take snarcolepsy, which is, apropos. Snarcolepsy. I have a hairy belly button and a spicy dandruff, and I caught it by sharing a toothbrush.
Now our new incubating disease is Bukkake plague. Oh no!
It's
Yes.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
No, it's just really in one specific place,
Um,
but there's a lot of it.
I am contracting fartritis.
How did you contract
I was
fartritis?
cursed by a witch, and I've had symptoms such as allergy to people, hunger for crayons, and genitalia sprouts fruit.
That's legit.
Yeah,
Real fruit of the loom.
that puts me at six skulls.
So Bukkake plague moves over, and what's our new one?
Choose your
Mystery
own.
disease.
Maybe we should take the mystery diseases
Yeah,
out.
because they're not fun to say.
That's lame.
I
Yeah,
can't be
there's
creative.
you're supposed to be you're supposed to write on them, and it's it's
So
whatever.
I've got rhophitis and Ebola.
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 All right.
Okay. So put this in the discard.
I'm going to take excess earwax and a mullet from the symptom pool.
To be replaced by fleas and something just exited my body.
I'm going to take bloated ego because I have to, and ruptured testicle because that's kind of risky run.
To be replaced by neck beard and acid for blood.
Molly, your turn.
I am going to take the wild card. So something exited my body from the symptom pool.
To be replaced with noxious breath.
And also, since I can take 2, I'm also going to take noxious breath.
No, you can't. You took one wild card from the pool. That ends it.
It's true.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I thought you could only take, out of the 2 cards, only one could be wild. Okay.
I tried to tell you it's
Okay.
ticket to
Take it to ride rules. All right. Go ahead. Get something. Get
Well,
cuties.
wait, it says only one wild symptom is allowed from the symptom pool. So that does kind of make it sound like you could take a wild card and one other card.
What does it say in the rule book?
That's what I'm literally reading. Collect up to 2 symptoms from the symptom deck or from the symptom pool. Only one wild symptom is allowed from the symptom pool.
Well, there you go. You can take a second symptom.
I'm taking noxious breath.
Yeah, I should have a second symptom then.
Take
Actually, I should have 2 more.
Would you like to take 2 more?
Yeah, I'm going to take acid for blood and neckbeard.
So fungal infection, being a sore loser, and curious knee burns. Curious knee burns was my nickname in college.
Nice.
I am going to contract the Bukkake plague.
Damn it. And of course, you're trying to use the actual Japanese pronunciation there.
What?
That's not how it's pronounced in Rokugani. I'm just telling you.
How is it pronounced in Rokugani?
Bukkake.
Anyway,
That's how the crabs say it anyway.
it's got a fucking E on the end, not an I. Anyway, I contracted the Bukake plague from sucking on a used tampon, which has resulted in excess earwax, a mullet, a neck beard, and peeing myself.
Well, no. You just peed yourself.
I just peed myself. And
With excitement over
And
the
again,
Bukake plague.
play that shit to camera. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
What's wrong with you?
sorry. I have all of these things. Camera.
That works great. That's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what I
Sorry.
meant.
And I got an outbreak. Misdiagnosis. You used the internet? Choose a player to discard their symptoms and collect a new set from the deck equal to their discarded amount. Cameron, I'm going to have you discard all of your symptoms and collect 4 new symptoms.
No dick fingers, no sense of humor, ruptured testicle, and bloated ego. Molly, could I have 4 cards, please?
Yes. I don't know why Dick Fingers is so funny.
It really just is.
Not when you
It's two funny sounding words together.
not when you have it. We need a new disease, I believe.
It goes.
All right, so Ebola goes over here, and to be replaced with schizophrenia.
We've all been there. I'm going to take fungal infection and being a sore loser because, again, I kind of have to.
Okay, I can't feel my face. And vagina breath. Which I'm wondering is does that mean that your breath resembles a vagina, or that like your vagina has like a breath weapon like a dragon?
It was my nickname back in college. That's all I know.
I am going.
Vaginal breath weapon.
I'm gonna.
I definitely did see vaginal breath weapon open from Baltimore Bitch Face in '78.
Well, so
They blew me away.
I drew 2 cards from the top of the Afflictor deck. My choices are drank from a toilet, which is blue, or slept with a granny corpse, which is yellow.
I mean, you probably can use the blue, but how do you say no to that?
I am gonna say no to the granny corpse, and choose drank from a toilet.
Hey, guys, remember that time I was bitten by a clown?
What'd you get?
Well, there was the fungal infection, is how it started, and then I was constantly being a sore loser. Alcoholism kicked in after that, and finished by a leather fetish, which was finally diagnosed as multifortosis, which had the outbreak of inpatience. Oh, this is a keeper card. I don't have to tell you what's on the bonus.
All right, so our new disease is diabetes.
All right, Molly.
I am going to come down with a terrible case of sniffles, which I caught when I shared a needle, and was symptoms included noxious breath and believing in the tooth fairy.
Wait, that was only 2 cards. You need 3 symptoms.
And my wild card of something just exited my body.
That's legit play.
That's all right. Diabetes is
All right.
now up for grabs.
This is why she's on the
Oh,
pro
and there
tour.
was a I got an outbreak.
This is why she's on the pro tour.
Oh wait, you keep that card.
Defibrillator. Oh, I can't tell you what it is. It's a keeper card.
All right.
Our new incubating disease, platypus pox. That's terrible. Platypus pox. How's everybody's skulls doing?
I'm at 4.
Okay,
I
Cameron's
have
at 5.
I'm at 7.
All right.
What?
I can't. I'm gonna
It was
take.
that arthritis.
I'm gonna take 2 cards from the pool. I'm gonna take. I can't feel my face and fleas.
I appreciate you leaving vagina breath and curious knee burns open because
Well, I'm also gonna put down triple chin and dead inside.
I'll take vagina breath, please. They you know, like they go together, like Lama Lama
true.
Ding Dong.
To be replaced by I think I'll call in sick and I like to eat cardboard.
Molly, it's your turn.
Okay, I would like to look at 2 afflictors.
You have shared a lolly.
Shared a lolly. They are English. I'm definitely having my genitalia bitten by a snake.
And she's gonna take that card.
And look how cute this snake is. I'm gonna take a picture for Instagram.
That's pretty great. I am going to take 2 symptoms from the pool. I'm going to take the wild card one. I think I'll call in sick and like to eat cardboard.
Well, first I ate roadkill. Then I had curious knee burns, vagina breath, and erectile dysfunction. And that is what gave me schizophrenia. For 2 skulls.
So you're at 7.
I'll take schizophrenia for 2 skulls, Cameron.
Darn right you will.
Oh, so Platypus Box is now in play, but Derpies is currently incubating.
That's good.
Your turn, Molly.
Nuclear sneezes and dead leg.
I'm going to pull 2 symptoms from the symptoms pile.
I am going to look at afflictors. Bitten by a raccoon or ate dog poop. I'm going to have to go with the dog poop. And I'm going to leave the raccoon for everybody else.
Pink flamingos, anybody?
That's right.
No.
I'm going to go afflictor hunting as well. My choices are bitten by a snail
Aw.
and
Oh, look at that snail.
drank a fish smoothie. I'm going to go with drank a fish smoothie.
I am going
that's right.
to put Derpies on top of Ebola. And now we've got Wangthrax.
I really like that. That's fucking great.
Wangthrax.
Well, I'm going to contract Derpies. I contracted it by being bitten by a starfish. And it has such symptoms as I like to eat cardboard, I can't feel my face, and I don't think that was just a fart. I'm really glad that we got this game, Molly, and got to play it with you.
All right, I'm going to go hunting for afflictors.
I'm at 7, by the way.
I eat the flesh of my victims and bitten by a vampire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh my god, are we tied?
I'm going to take bitten by a vampire.
Why would
because-
you not take the wild card?
Because it only gets me 2 skulls.
What?
He has a plan.
Yeah, look, I have 7 skulls, right?
Yeah.
I need 3 more to win.
Yeah.
If I take a wild card disease, I get 2 more skulls. If I get a red disease, I get 4 more skulls.
The wild card will let you take the red.
No.
No, wild card is match anything with anything. Yeah.
I mean, you really can get anything eating the flesh of your victims.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I apologize. You don't have to match wild card with wild card. Wild card matches with anything.
I eat the flesh of my victims. I was thinking of the wild card of symptoms. Yeah, how many cards do you have on? You got 4, 3.
I got 3 in my hand, and I have 7 points showing.
Okay. Okay. We're good.
I am going to. There's my wild. Okay, so I can only have 7 symptoms, 6 symptoms.
7.
Alright,
You can only have 7 in your hand.
I'm going to take nuclear sneezes and dead leg, and put down toddler tantrums and really small brain.
Let's see. I don't have a whole lot here. I'm gonna draw 2 symptoms, I guess.
I'm going to take toddler tantrums and triple chin, please.
Ah,
White and blue, respectively.
okay. Involuntary winking and perpetual ejaculation.
That was where I got my confirmation.
I'm gonna take the bitten by a vampire affliction.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm done.
I am going to. Fuck. I am going to go affliction hunting. Stroked a rare frog or drank a magic potion. Both red.
I'm going to go for involuntary winking and dead inside. Yeah, sure.
Which is replaced by hot ears and think I'm a goldfish.
At the beginning of your turn, I'm going to play Impatience. I've checked you all into the hospital. Bon voyage. Place instantly or at the start of turn. All other players are not allowed to contract a disease until my next turn. Which is not really going to help, but because if you can win this turn, you can win next turn. So
did we decide you can? All right, I'm going to put Wangthrax on top of Diabetes to be replaced by Squirtigo.
Squirtigo.
Yeah.
I'm going to place Squirtigo on top of Ebola.
I'm going to contract Rhophiolitis. Or am I?
What's incubating?
The current thing...
Polygonorrhea?
Polygonorrhea.
I eat the flesh of my victims, which caused me toddler tantrums and involuntary winking, which then caused me to catch Rhophiolitis
So now,
for one skull.
Polygonorrhea. So,
Can you say it? No. Molly, you have to announce the next thing.
Titanus!
What is it?
Titanus.
The incubating disease is titanus.
No, Titanus.
Titanus.
That's funnier, because that's a double pun right there.
Woo, okay.
Molly, I believe it's your turn.
Okay, so there's no way for us to get rid of symptoms without getting a disease, correct?
Without
Yeah.
getting more diseases. I think you have to discard after you get symptoms.
Yeah, well, hypothetically, once you have 7 symptoms in your hand, you should be able to get something. Like,
No, not necessarily. Does it say you can discard?
no.
Okay. Then yeah.
Well, so but if I already have a full hand and I pick up something from the pile,
Then you can't do that.
okay.
Then
So
you have
it's not that I have to discard after I go over. It's I have to empty my hand to get
to
okay.
get more, yeah.
Okay, I would
Let me actually check the more stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
Once
I'm
all
kinda
symptoms,
stuck.
afflictors, or outbreaks have been used, shuffle and reset them. If the cards in the symptom pool are the same color, discard them all and reveal a fresh new set from the symptom deck. If only the accessible diseases in the disease pool are the same color, shuffle the respective cards into the disease deck. Outbreaks of diseases passed between players should be ignored as the disease has been exhausted of its effects. In the instance that there are 2 players, outbreaks with a group symbol should be ignored and another outbreak drawn. If you have a card limits of 7 symptoms in your hand and 3 face-up afflictors displayed in front of you. When reaching the limit, you may first add a new card to your collection and then discard down to your limit.
Sure.
okay.
Keep discard piles face down. Huh.
Ow.
Yeah. Okay. So you can. My
Okay,
apologies.
I'm going to take perpetual ejaculation and get rid of difficulties bleaking.
Are you going to take another one?
Yeah. You take 2.
Oh, I'm definitely rectal bleeding. And get rid of dead leg. Nope. Funky body odor is our new symptom.
I am going to take 2 cards from the top of the symptom deck.
I'm going to put Titanus on top of Wangthrax for the block.
Wankers. We need to get rid of that one because it's a blank one. Tophoid again. Tophoid.
Tophoid.
I am going to come down with a terrible case of polygonorrhea.
This game is stupid.
I got it when my genitalia was bitten by a snake. And my symptoms included, I have to say it in the drug company voice
You
now.
do. You absolutely
Perpetual
do.
ejaculation, poor life choices, big fat face, and projectile vomiting. Ask your doctor if you may be suffering from polygonorrhea.
So yeah, that's Death Wish. It is a hard kind of a card matching game.
I like to match.
There's a level of monitoring your opponents we didn't quite get into since this was our first game.
I want to read more diseases.
But let's see. Yes, you can read us out with more diseases. Hold on, stop. That's good radio. Save it for the people.
Okay.
What do you think, Ryan?
I like it. You know, it's a good party game. The only thing that was a little tough is understanding all of the different decks. Like
Yeah.
having 4 different decks. Like once we got into it, I was like, oh well, yeah, all these. Okay, sure, this makes perfect sense. It's more colors to
definitely
match.
a good filler
Yeah, it's
in between funsies.
yeah. You know, this is the sort of thing that I would break out if I was at a party.
Yeah, the graphic design is not great either. 'Cause
Yeah, I would make everything look a little bit different.
the afflicted and the difference between the afflictors and the symptoms is the symptoms has the title up at the top, the afflictors have the title down at the bottom, and a big graphic in the middle. But other than that, they're just a solid color. At a glance, it's hard to tell this apart.
Yeah, that's true. And those are easy to mix up, especially when you have to go through the discarding. Like it's not perfect, but
The stupid disease names, I didn't get tired of it. That
Nope.
was a joke that didn't get old. The manual kind of sucks.
I mean, my reading of it might not have been great, but I
No, it's and I understand that writing manuals is hard, but this one was not good. Like I was not. It's not a complicated game, really,
no.
and I was not able to wrap my head around it just reading the manual.
Yeah, and I mean, like I had to read it. I mean, the section on what you can do on your turn, coming after one of like the criteria for making your choices. Like the last thing in there is contracted disease, but all of the requirements for contracting a disease are like 2 pages before that.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but with its size, it was not an insurmountable obstacle.
And it is perhaps the most Molly game ever. And on that note, this has been another episode of the Play Better Podcast, bringing you the best in the world of tabletop gaming and teaching you how to play it better. PlayBetterCast@gmail.com, PlayBetterCast@gmail.com, @PlayBetterCast on the Twitter and Instagrams. We're going to join Tumblr and post pictures of nipples, just as a form of protest. I don't know what our username is going to be there. Female presenting nipples.
But it's largely just going to be animals.
Which, no, it's largely just going to be
Female animal nipples.
ladies very primly dressed presenting nipples to other people. Please, sir, this nipple is for you. Oh, damn it. I thought I was going to get through it that time. I really thought I was. Oh, yeah, check out our Cafe Press store. Buy the Cafe Press things. And like, subscribe, throw a paper airplane with our name on it out your window if you love us. I'm Cameron McNary.
I'm Molly McClanahan.
And I'm Ryan Seguin.
Play well.